Hello and welcome to episode 2 of season 6 of Titan and Titan.
Hello.
Oh, this is Chris Ashworth.
And this is John Carruthers.
Excellent, we got that right that time. Right, so Chris and I were having a wee kind of confab before the show. And we do that every time. And usually, sometimes we use it to talk about stuff that we can't talk about online. And sometimes we just want a wee quick catch up. Yeah. And I think we did an element of both there.
It's true. It's true. We should review our review our pre-show banter at the start of every show just to keep you all on the
We should absolutely talk about, stuff that would get us cancelled. No, I actually hate that phrase, getting cancelled.
You can't get cancelled from normal conversation. It has to be something that's on record.
From something that you stream yourself.
No.
Who's going to cancel me?
You don't answer to any. Well, it's supposed StreamYard, but I don't know. Is anyone even managing StreamYard these days? I thought they were just a COVID thing.
Exactly. The guys that created StreamYard just kind of went dung, 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 and then just walked away from it.
Yeah, it runs itself. It's kind of like it's kind of like the Space Jam website.
Also, the Matrix Online.
No, have you seen the Space Jam website?
I haven't seen the Space Jam website.
I think we should put a link to the Space Jam website.
Okay. I also have to say for the record that we didn't say anything that would get us cancelled, and I do, and I love the old kind of Stuart Lee thing about that they did in his most recent show about kind of you can't say anything these days, which if you haven't seen is just beautiful. I just love
not seen it actually.
People that complain about getting cancelled, the people that complain about being cancelled seem to be the most vocal people that you ever see. Kind of on it's like you can't say that. You just did a Netflix special about not being able to say that.
I'm gonna do something incredibly risky. I'm about to share my screen. Actually, I'll just share that. This is the Space Jam website. Right, established 1996. Oh, sorry. Am I sharing the? Yeah, you can see this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, the website. Yep, we can see
this is still running. You can still go to Jam Central. This website was designed in the 90s and has
They've subsequently made a Space Jam reboot, and they didn't update the website.
No, I mean there's no need. Look, it's an absolute gem. So, but someone said something. There's a comment on something about the Space Jam website that it's still running now, but one day at the back of some old abandoned studio warehouse, there's a little red light blinking on a server, and one day that little red light will just go. And the Space Jam website dies.
I'm genuinely worried about the fact that the Space Jam website is still running and advertising the original for Space Jam, considering Pepe Le Pew's in it.
Yeah, he would get cancelled.
Pepe Le Pew hasn't already been. Is basically a rapey skunk.
Yeah.
I've discussed this before.
Big rape energy on the.
He does. He just basically accident. I'm not saying that he makes the cats walk under a ladder while somebody's painting something, and then they get white, and then he uses that as an excuse to,
lick them clean or whatever it was he did.
Well, he used to pretend. He used to pretend to be quite into cats. He was clearly into cats, right?
Yeah, he had a cat fetish.
Yeah, he had a cat fetish. But it would only be if they happened to look skunky.
Yeah, he would he'd dress him up all skunk like. He's like he's like he was lying to himself about what he really wanted. He he wants cats, but he's like, it's okay. I can bring her home to mum.
Yep,
he looks a bit like a skunk.
Exactly.
It's amazing that even got made in the first place when you think about it, because he was real aggressive.
He was very aggressive. And I don't know. I think that if you are sexually aggressive, you get away with it more if you get a French accent. I don't know, right? I'm not.
You do, well, but come to think of it, Johnny Bravo had a similar energy. Yeah, what made Johnny Bravo slightly more acceptable was that he was just always getting kicked in the nuts and like punched in the face. It was just really the show was just ways we can get Johnny to get the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, that's true. And do you know what? It kind of slightly gets his comeuppance, whereas I nearly said Johnny Vegas. Imagine getting that one.
I'd watch that show though.
Johnny, exactly. A show about Johnny Vegas trying to force himself on cats.
Johnny Vegas has a cat fetish and he makes it the cat's problem.
I'm not saying that. Anyway, I'm not saying that Johnny Vegas would do that.
Okay, now this is the only time I've ever thought you might actually be backpedaling out of dangerous territory. Like, imagine that one comedian and one ex-comedian. It would make news, slander Johnny Vegas or libel Johnny Vegas on their unpopular comedy stream. We don't need to be swinging at Johnny Vegas. He's a good man.
You don't need to be swinging at Johnny Vegas. There's no such thing as bad publicity.
There is, yeah. Libel against Johnny Vegas is bad publicity.
But I think we categorically stated that that's not something that Johnny Vegas would do. To be honest, if that doesn't make it onto a poster on Johnny Vegas's next kind of tour.
Do you know what? For the first time ever on this show, I will backpedal. I am sorry to Johnny Vegas and the entire cat community. I didn't mean to imply that Johnny Vegas pumped you ruthlessly against your will. Can you ever pump a cat with its will? Like, I don't think.
I don't know.
I don't know. It would be a lengthy court battle.
My cat sometimes licks me in the face with an energy that's approaching, like, sexual.
Yeah. Well, I have been around cats that are in heat, and it's usually the other end that they present to you.
Well, fair enough. But I'm just saying that I suppose it's not like I like to think that if a cat really came on to me, that I'd be able to resist.
I like to think there's still a degree of uncertainty there, which is what I like.
Anyway, if anyone hasn't watched before,
they might have noticed that this week my forehead appears to have grown 2 sizes. Is my forehead always this big, or is it just the way I've centered the camera this week?
I've actually started posting kind of historical episodes of this. I've started posting historical episodes of this, and you and I do have quite extreme changes in hairstyle.
Yeah.
Over the last year.
Yeah, how was I mean, to be fair, at the moment it's just laziness. My usual haircut is like number 1 back and side, short on top. Just get it all chopped off. And I think, did I have that at the start? I don't even remember.
I'll send you a link.
To our own show.
my brother has just said, "Are you still doing this?" Laugh emoji.
It's been a long time. We've done a long old shift.
John Tonner pointed out that we pointed back to front. Obviously, hasn't seen enough of this.
Fancy pointing back to front every time.
We actually get annoyed when we get it right.
We do.
Yeah. I feel that we've gone off on a 10-minute. But this this is case in point about what I was talking about pre-show.
Yeah. Well, you can't make a reference to that and then not at least a little bit explain what we mean by that.
Canny.
Well, John's supposed to be doing a show that he has to stick.
Okay, right. I'm right. Okay, I'll just. Okay, I'm doing.
You don't have to give any details. Just say that you're concerned.
No. I'll talk about it. I'm doing a show. I'm doing a show for the Glasgow Comedy Festival, and then hoping to take it onto the Fringe.
Links in the description.
And it's me and Colin Higgins and Cubby, and we're doing a show together. And I'm worried. I'm genuinely worried but it's given me anxiety about the fact that Colin and Cubby are very kind of meticulous, and they write a kind of rounded set, and they do their, you know, they'll work out to the nanosecond what they're going to say, and they're kind of third of the show. And I don't think that's something I'm capable of doing.
Whereas sometimes the stuff that you say on stage surprises you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I didn't log in today thinking I was going to talk about Pepe Le Pew for 10 minutes. I didn't.
No, but he's a rich and interesting topic, let's face it.
He's a rich and interesting... well, I mean, yeah, I suppose the same way that Hitler is.
Yeah. Although...
You know, you can probably talk more about Hitler for 10 seconds than you could about my old accounts manager when I worked for a video rental company. Do you know, there's probably, you know, so
was he a tedious man, like a
tedious
column
man.
Of warm, pissy air?
He was very sometimes surprised you.
A hot fart in a cold waiting room.
He did, yeah, pretty much. So I mean, I couldn't get 10 minutes of him, but I could probably do a good 10 minutes on Hitler. So, I mean, just because someone...
I mean, the Discovery Channel have done like 20 years on Hitler in total.
And I guarantee that my old accounts and finance manager, when I worked for an unnamed video rental company, hasn't had a single documentary made about him.
Nope. He hasn't thrown up any numbers.
Somebody that I did work with has.
For good reasons?
No.
Vaguely, what were the bad reasons?
The bad reasons were what's a polite way of saying paedophile?
I think you just did it. Yeah, that's the polite way to say it.
Yeah. Someday I used to work with, and do you know what? Didn't he like the guy?
Yeah, it's someone I used to work with. That happened as well. Do you know? I don't know if it's still a thing because I'm not on Facebook anymore. But when I was on Facebook years ago, they had
it's still full of pedophiles.
Yeah. What? This is the Van Helsing to their Dracula, the pedo hunters, as they call themselves.
There's 6 watching now. I'm just looking at the. I'm only joking, right? Anyway, so
right. You meant pedophiles. I thought you just meant people. Well, you know, you say no press is bad press. The show we test high among the pedophile demographic. But
they have those. You hear the phrase "tight 10." I just really wanted to.
Fuck, that's a real bad one. But also on par. But yeah, the pedo hunters came to his door and like took a video of him and you know all this stuff, and he didn't show up for work the next day. He didn't even come and collect his paycheck. He was just gone. Bye.
Well, the person I'm talking about, who I worked with many years ago, who wasn't the accounts manager that I was talking about, by the way.
I thought you were about to say who wasn't a paedophile. They will specify each person you used to work with. Was the accounts manager a paedophile?
No, I don't think so. I don't think he was interested enough to be.
Yeah. He just he wouldn't have had any game. Maybe it was. Yeah, no, he's a paedophile, but he's not a paedophile, but not for lack of trying.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, he didn't even. I'm not saying.
Didn't even have the wit to trick children.
I'm not saying it's a positive character trait, but it's a character trait nonetheless.
It's something to talk about. It's something to over a glass of Merlot. Oh boy, we've really set the tone low this week because we went straight from rapist cartoons to pedophiles.
Somebody that I used to work with. I've just realised that somebody that I used to work with has just started watching, and it's not him either, right? Because the person I'm talking about probably has no access to the internet now.
Yeah, no internet,
which
but
is
definitely
why I had a good conscience. which is why I can't, in good conscience, kind of slightly talk about it on account of the fact that I know they will not. Imagine if I was worried about embarrassing them.
Yeah, or like, I mean, he probably can't leave his home at this stage, so it's not like you have to worry about him coming round to your house.
I do believe that he's in prison.
Well, then he definitely can't come round to your home. Yeah. You'd have to go round to his.
I'd have to go down. I'd have to go and visit him. But yeah, so again, I'm not mentioning names, but the person that I'm talking about, I actually really didn't like, and he was an absolute prick, and he was a nasty piece of work, and he did something particularly horrible to me in the workplace.
Oh,
probably the most horrible thing that anybody has ever done to me in the workplace ever. However, I was still surprised. You would like to think that you could like be in that situation where that comes out, you kind of go, fucking knew it.
Yeah.
Even though he did what I consider to be the most horrible thing that anyone has ever done to me in a workplace.
Did he do that thing at the urinal where you were peeing at the urinal and he says that's illegal, you know? And you say, what is? And he says, a grown man holding a wee boy's penis.
He did not say that. And I actually imagine if he did. Imagine
a paedophile making that joke to you.
Imagine the balls on you. Imagine the guts that you would have to make
those jokes about it. Because if you were a paedophile, the last thing you'd be doing is making paedophile jokes. That would be flying too close to the sun.
Either that, or it's the way that you camouflage yourself.
Yeah. You got to get the brown aviators on so no one knows it's you.
I do actually feel that we may be losing viewers with 17 minutes of first Pepe Le Pew, and then I'm not.
Yeah, but I'm having fun.
I'm having fun as well. To be honest, I don't think we do this for anybody else except for us.
Oh, I don't even know anybody else.
I don't know anybody else either. But anyway, the guy did, and I will tell you. I'll tell you if you want the most horrible thing anyone's ever done in the workplace. Might not be the most horrible thing that's ever happened to you in the workplace. Or the most horrible thing someone's done to you is the most horrible thing that anyone's done to me in the workplace. But even with that in mind, when it appeared kind of on BBC News, and then it was actually part of a paranormal investigation. That's not true. Panorama. suddenly bring ghosts into.
Imagine the thought process when you're doing a paranormal documentary and you find a paedophile. It's like, what do we do with this?
Do you not remember the hit BBC show Ghost Paedophiles? I meant to say Panorama, not Paranormal. That'd have been amazing. I'd have watched the hell out of that.
Derek Acorah channeling pedos.
Channeling. I think any famous dead paedophiles.
It's amazing to me. What was the worst thing that happened to you in the workplace?
Sorry, Jimmy Savile.
It was about to move on to Derek Acorah, but let's go for that.
Right, no. Obviously, again, I have to say allegedly, on account of the fact that he was never technically brought to justice. What a weird world we live in.
Justice.
Weird world we live in where I have to caveat that way, allegedly.
Allegedly, yeah.
Anyway, sorry. What were you going to say? You were going to go off,
You still haven't said what the worst thing that happened to you in the workplace was.
I broke my foot. My brother's watching. My brother's actually watching, so he knows this. I broke my foot chasing my brother down the stairs. About 25 years ago, my brother and I get in a fight, and I chased him down the stairs, and I missed a stair, and I broke my foot.
I think I remember you telling me that before.
Yeah, so I have told that before. But anyway, so obviously, this was on a Wednesday night. This was a Wednesday night, and the problem is that because I'm telling this story, I'm giving you the full details, so we won't get to the actual story for another 10 minutes. But so I broke my foot, and ended up kind of in A&E. 4 hours later, because I refused to believe I'd broken my foot.
Yeah.
Again, it was about 7 hours after my heart attack that I decided that A&E might be worth visiting as well. So I do have previous on this. I'm all right. I'm fine.
Slips there. Arm, you can't feel your left arm except the shooting pains reaching your fingertips. It's like, I'll be all right. 7 hours later.
Every grade out, I was on all fours, but I'm okay.
He drives himself.
Exactly. Just don't waste an ambulance.
I can't do the gears. You're going to have to do the gears.
Actually, I have subsequently been to the hospital 3 times on account of the fact that I displayed symptoms of potentially having another heart attack, and every single time I drove myself to the hospital.
Imagine it ramped up on the motorway.
And not only have I driven myself to the hospital, but there was this one time when I drove myself to the hospital and then they gave me heroin.
Yeah.
I've told you this story before.
Yes.
They gave me diamorphine.
Yeah.
And they gave me diamorphine. And then when I calmed down and I realised I wasn't having a heart attack, they actually sent me home full of heroin and I drove myself home.
It's funny. I don't know what's worse. Like, obviously driving on heroin. Actually,
well,
if you've only had a little driving on heroin,
hours, just in case there's any police officers watching, it was many hours after, and I'm sure. And anyway, it's too late now.
It only lasts about 4 to 6 hours.
You can never prove it. I'm a comedian. This could just be a comedic anecdote. There's probably no way to prove that this is or is not true. This could be part of a set.
The way you framed it, though, now this could be. You should have said this is. That eliminates doubt.
I'd love
to give your lawyers something to work with, man.
I'd love them to prove it in a court of law without a blood sample, for instance.
I'll be honest. Look, I would rather be driven by someone that I know had a bit of heroin, rather than someone that I know is in the midst of a heart attack. I think that's more irresponsible than driving on heroin.
Are you saying the journey in was potentially more dangerous?
Yes. Much worse, because it's like at least with heroin you're not going to feel pain and you're probably going to go limp. If the car does crash, you'll be all right. If you're in the middle of a heart attack, your risk of death is already pretty high. And then you're just adding a car crash on top of that. So it's like if the car flips, the ambulance has to pull you out. Look at all the lacerations and horrible cuts and everything, the broken bones. And then on top of that, they also have to realize that you're having a heart attack.
This is a hell of a tangent. This is a good one. I like that. I don't think we'll do any gaming today. I do think we're generally going to continue down this route.
But I want to see the Lizard King. I also want to move on to the next book at some point because it looks brilliant.
You know, actually, I will bring this up because tonight's episode is called Pure Shores because that was the All Saints song that they did for the
beach. Yeah,
and we have landed on a beach.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And the blood for it is John reveals the reasons he wants Chris to fail this quest, and he's sure Chris will be torn on account of the fact that he will half agree but half love lizard-related quests.
I do love lizard-related quests.
But I do actually have the book here. This is going to be our next book, and it's not a fighting fantasy book. It is this.
The House on Sentinel Hill. A Lovecraftian horror game.
It's a Lovecraftian horror game, and it is, and I showed you before, just as a kind of framer. It doesn't matter because you'll die.
It is as thick as cold peanut butter.
It is. It's just so. I'm dead excited about this, and it's slightly different as well. I don't want to go into too much detail about it because this is going to be season 7.
Yeah. How about we start segueing into Island of the Lizard King, and then we'll get to the Lovecraft. We'll leave it as a little season 7. Will that be season 7?
That'll be season 7. We're currently on season 6.
Season 7 surprise. It even has that sibilance to it. Season 7 surprise.
Oh, so the other book that I was talking about is this one. Do you remember the Lone Wolf, which is a collection of 32 kind of game books?
Yeah, one hell of a journey. And I know I die in the first half an hour.
Well, what I used to do when I was playing these games when I was younger was if I died on book 7, I would go back to book 1 and start again.
Well, what was your cut-off? Did you have a cut-off where okay, look, book 20 is a save point. If we die on book 25, we'll come back to 20, and then you get to 35, and it's like, okay, 35 feels like a good save point.
Do you know? I don't remember. There was probably a point where I got so frustrated with it. I definitely remember getting as far as book 12.
God damn, still an impressive journey. Do you know, of all the superpowers that someone could have, I think being able to have save points would be
save points
incredible.
Is that not one? Did they not kind of do that in Misfits? I'm not sure.
Did they?
Was it not somebody that the superpower was? It was kind of living in a game and he'd save points. I can't. Maybe I've made that up.
I don't know. I watched all of Misfits and I don't remember. Well, maybe
there was somebody that superpower was that he felt like it was a kind of Grand Theft Auto style game. But I might have now transposed in that I thought, oh, wouldn't it be great if his superpower was he'd save points?
Yeah.
And I might have just created a better character arc for Misfits in this poor bastard's hand.
Well, it did really drop off in the last couple of seasons. They got they did my favorite thing that you can do with superpowers, which is where you take a shit power and you just make it so creative that it becomes amazing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I love that, but save points is just like you do a save point like 8 years old, do another save point at like 14, another one at 18. Just every like milestone in your life, do a save point. You need to go back to it. Sitting on your deathbed. I don't even know why you'd get as far as your deathbed. As soon as you started feeling a bit weak, you're like, I'm just going to go back to 25.
Just do you know what? Come 30, I'd probably go back to 25.
Oh, I'm turning 30 this year.
Exactly, go back to 25. I actually had an idea. I've told you ideas for TV shows and stuff that I've kind of had before, and I had an idea for a TV show that was the opposite of this.
The opposite of save points, or the opposite of what you're about to describe?
It's kind of the opposite of save points.
Okay, go on. I have no idea what that means, but go on.
I almost don't want to kind of publicly state it, and I think I did this the last time as well. I can't remember because I've told you ideas I've had for shows before.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, StreamYard will own it, but I mean, who cares? It's StreamYard.
Exactly. I don't know if I should say this now.
Okay, right. Well, we'll have a debrief after the show, and you can tell me all about your idea.
Because, but the premise of my show is the opposite of save points, which sounds ridiculous because surely that's everyday life, but it's not.
Right. Okay. Right. I'm so curious. I have absolutely no concept of what you mean, but you're going to have to tell me after the show, since it's such a good idea that StreamYard will immediately steal it.
I'll definitely tell you after the show. We're going to have a 10-minute debrief just on that. Right, okay, we're going to move on, but I do want to tell you. And do you know what? If you like the idea, we'll co-write it.
Fine. Absolutely fine. In fact, I was going to, you know what? I'll leave that for after the show as well.
No worries, right? Let's do it, right?
Anyway,
there's just people watching and going, do you know what? You had this with a kind of rapey skunk.
Yeah, and now you've moved on to hoarding your precious ideas. Just keeping them. This isn't for you. Just pop it in the cheeks.
Exactly. I'm just imagining the arrogance of thinking that anything that I say here right now is of any. People actually watch this stream specifically to steal my ideas.
Steal plot lines from those books we read.
Absolutely. Steal plot lines from books that we've been stealing plot lines from for 40 years.
Yeah. They are pretty samey.
They are pretty samey. Anyway, Island of the Lizard King. Here we go.
Island of the Lizard King.
Anyway, so Island of the Lizard King is a game that Chris Ashworth is currently playing. His character is called Nigel Havers. He basically
Nigel Havers.
He's hit for reasons unknown. The lizard men have been coming over to Oyster Bay, was it?
Aye.
The lizard men from an evil island have been coming over to Oyster Bay, stealing things and people for many years. You go to see your pal Mungo.
That's right, Mungo Jerry.
This is happening. Mungo Mungo's been telling this is happening, and you've said, do you know what, I'm going to go over and stop this. So you're going to go over to the island of the Lizard King and kill the Lizard King.
And for the first time in the Fighting Fantasy Chronicle, the person that asked us, or the person that quested us to do something, actually came with us. Mungo got in the boat. And not only did he get in the boat, he told us some brilliant stories about his dad. I think it was his dad was like a wrestling champion or something. Mungo knows what is up.
Yeah, Mungo knows the score. And we're going over. Mungo has taken us to the island of the Lizard King, and we've landed on that. I say we. There's never any kind of jeopardy for me.
It's true.
It's you. It's all on you, Chris. I'm the games master. I'm not remotely worried. It's all
I'm
good.
Nigel Havers.
You're Nigel Havers. You've landed. You've basically, Mungo has just steered the boat towards a small inlet at the eastern tip of the island, hoping that it will remain concealed between the high rocks. You both put on your backpacks and you clamber out the boat in your quest to find the Lizard King. And this is kind of where you're at. And we had the kind of conversation that we thought that Mungo probably won't last long. So we think Mungo's going to get killed off relatively quickly, but we're not sure.
I would put money on the fact that Mungo's not going to be around for long.
I don't think Mungo will make it to episode 3.
Yeah, I mean, we might not make it, or I might not make it to episode 3.
We've destroyed all potential jeopardy here by saying, if the cliffhanger of this is Mungo dies, people say, well, you did tell us 29 minutes before the end of the episode.
Yeah,
that's likely to happen. But I will say, Chris, you need to be careful because we're talking about the fact that the Albus want you killed off quite quickly in this. And you're kind of torn about it. But if you die before the end of this episode, then you do get a restart, remember, because you have to. You've got a kind of 2-episode kind of period.
True. So you have a vested interest in keeping me alive this episode. But after that, I think this will be the first time we've ever had an adversarial relationship.
But I'll be happy if you complete this quest as well, because then it just makes it. You're just kind of, season 7. This has got lizards in it. You love lizards. Season 7, is going to be an absolute. So here's hoping. But I've got a vested interest in kind of keeping you alive. Also, we're not on next week because I've got a gig.
That's right. It's the first Tuesday of the month. Which means you are hosting Junkyard.
I'm hosting. Not only am I hosting Junkyard, but I'm also doing a preview of the Glasgow Comedy Festival show next week. So,
incredible. Busy week, busy man.
Busy man. It's at the Junkyard, so it's not that busy. It's the same night.
Fair enough.
But we're also previewing it on Thursday as well. So we're previewing it on Thursday and then Tuesday, and then our Glasgow Comedy Festival in it. And exciting times. Busy. I've got a busy March. So if anybody's watching us right now that wants to spend any significant time with me, March, you're going to have to just watch me gig.
Yeah, or catch him on Tuesdays on this.
Catch him on Tuesdays on this, yeah. I mean, to be honest, is the best way to catch me because you don't have to really interact with me. If you get sick of me, you can switch me off.
But you also can comment and interact with us that way.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And people have kind of slightly commented, but it's all been about how much I love Pepe Le Pew, so I've kind of avoided it.
So it's just free Pepe.
And we're getting exactly Pepe was misunderstood. Free Pepe, the weird sequel to Free Willy.
I'd have let Pepe smash me. He would have had no roadblocks.
Yes means yes.
He can paint a big white stripe down the center of my body if he needs. If that's what he needs. If that's what you need, Pepe, to get you off.
That's what you need to get you off. Weirdly enough, when you said painted a big white stripe, in my head I was thinking of like Wile E. Coyote making a fake road.
That too.
That's a completely other cartoon.
That's how he gets you into bed. He just paints a bedroom on a wall, and then you both just walk in. But then you walk in, and then he slams against the wall.
Off a wall. Poor Wile E. Coyote. Yeah.
He never had to get his hole because he could just draw his own.
Island of the Lizard King.
Yeah, let's go.
So basically, you were left with the excited. Sorry, I've broken character. I don't like it, but I've done it.
Come on, right back in the
Let's
game.
Just start again, right? I kept it to the end, didn't you?
Yeah, okay. I did think so.
Welcome back, right? So anyway, Island of the Lizard King. Now, you've just landed the boat. You and Mungo have landed the boat, and you've kind of clambered onto the beach, and you've got the choice of scrambling around the rocks of the beach to the cove to your left, or clambering over the rocks. So here's your choices: you scramble to the left, or you clamber to the right. Right, that's pretty. So basically, you clearly were aware of the fact that you couldn't use the same two.
This is a decision point. It's not a decision between left and right. It's a decision between scrambling and clambering, scrambling and clambering. I will clamber to the right.
You got to clamber to the right. For no reason whatsoever, Mungo dies. Oh.
Mungo has a heart attack.
Mungo is freaked out with the concept of clambering and dies.
He was born a scrambler, he'll die a scrambler.
Last words are, avenge me.
He's born a scrambler, he'll die a scrambler.
You soon reach the beach, but duck back down behind the rocks when you see what's happening on it. A rowing boat has been dragged onto the beach, obviously by the 6 pirates who are standing around a large chest. There you go. That's the kind of that. This is called a set piece.
But a rich piece of lore right there. We have pirates with a big bit of booty.
They're just standing there. Around the chest. That's it. Yeah. So if anyone's not aware of the fact that if you had gone left, you might have who knows? We'll never know.
We could have found a grove full of tortoises that soulless things, but we went right and we find pirates.
Ogling a chest. So stand around a large chest. You look at Mungo and you discuss what to do. Obviously, hidden behind rocks. You go, Mungo. What are we going to do?
Mungo's my confidant.
You're going to discuss with Mungo what to do, but you still make the decision. So this is quite weird. So Mungo's obviously clearly subservient to you in that it says you discuss it. But there's absolutely, but you're left with the choice. So I'm assuming that Mungo is just basically saying, do you know what? I defer to you, Nigel Havers.
Hey, I was in Chariots of Fire. Of course, you defer to me.
Was Nigel Havers in Chariots of Fire?
Yeah, I believe so. Now you're going to make me Google it.
I'm going to make Google it because I'm not. I've seen Nigel Havers in loads of things.
Yeah, he was in Chariots of Fire. He was in Chariots of Fire.
Oh, there you go. I've seen Chariots of Fire and I've enjoyed Chariots of Fire, and I've seen Nigel Havers and I've enjoyed Nigel Havers. But in my head, I've never seen the kind of Nigel Havers Chariots of Fire Venn diagram where the two of them meet.
He played Lord Andrew Lindsay.
There we go. I need to rewatch Chariots of Fire. I'm worried that I accidentally, because both of the soundtracks are done by Vangelis, I'm worried that I accidentally watched Blade Runner. I go, Nigel is in that. What are you talking about?
Always get those two mixed up.
Always get Chariots of Fire and Blade Runner mixed up on account of
Nigel Havers being in both.
On account of Nigel Havers being in one of them. Well, do you know? Before now, I thought Nigel Havers was in neither of them, so they made it a lot easier to get mixed up between the two.
Wouldn't it be amazing if we found out that Nigel Havers was in fact in Blade Runner?
Nigel Havers was originally supposed to play the role that Rutger Hauer played.
Oh God, imagine.
That'd have been a completely different interpretation, wouldn't it have? In fact, Nigel Havers was supposed to play everybody in it.
What's amazing is that he went from that to Coronation Street.
Have you never seen Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner at the Fringe?
Yeah, I mean, hasn't everyone?
That's exactly just going.
It's a staple. I watch it at least 3 times during the Fringe.
The good thing about Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner is the fact that everybody walks away from Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner known for definite that he was and wasn't a replicant.
Yeah. It's
which is a lot better than any of the answers that you get on any of the Blade Runner cuts, because you're left unsure. Nigel Havers makes it definitive that
sometimes he does do a version of his own show where he is narrating on top of himself.
And he does it well. And do you know what? I appeal to you. If Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner happens to be on at the Fringe this year and is on at the same time as the show that I'm doing, I urge you to go and see Nigel Havers.
Yeah, that'll be your intro to the crowd. What are you guys doing here? Nigel Havers is on.
I'm actually hoping to get the venue next to him so that I can still usher people into
it. So that during your show you can take a beat to sip a drink and listen to see if you can hear a bit of Nigel Havers.
I will actually happily go with those other people and they can see Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner. And do you know what? If I win the lottery tomorrow, I will actually pay Nigel Havers millions of pounds to bring one-man Blade Runner to the Fringe. Obviously,
no, not to the Fringe. Get him to take it on the road.
I'm going to get.
We're going
to do a Fringe run first, and then we'll take it on the road.
It's good. I mean, I think maybe even better than that is his version of American History X that he plays all the characters in.
I love the bit where he actually manages to stomp his own face off a curb. Lucy Orchard's watching. She says, "Hello, boys. Make me laugh. I've had a shit of a day. I hope that we have. I'm not entirely sure. It depends on how you feel about Nigel Havers, to be honest."
Yeah,
Havers was basically sex on TV in his day. That's true. There was something about Nigel Havers had this kind of.
I get it.
As I recall, Nigel Havers, depending on how you felt about Nigel Havers, you just went, he's smooth as fuck, or you just went, he's a bit seedy. But there was always a kind of sexualization.
Yeah, it's either dodgy or it's like a caramel latte.
It was chef's kiss.
Shall we? I think I might have run out of Nigel Havers material.
I'm just getting started. Do you know, we just did 20 minutes on Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner show.
Do you realize this is going to come up every episode because I've named my character Nigel Havers? And in my head, by the way, it is Nigel Havers.
I genuinely did not know. Again, it goes back to the Pepe Le Pew thing. If you'd asked me 44 minutes ago, if I ever invent time travel, I'm going to go back 44 minutes in time during this show and just say to myself, do you know what you're going to do? And I'll say, I do know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quest with Chris. No, you're going to spend 15 minutes on Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner. There's no fucking chance I'm going to do that. You fucking are. You are.
Yeah. Well, you see, if you had done that, you would have wasted your time machine. You would have wasted your time machine because what you should have done is gone back to the original run of Nigel Havers' one-man Blade Runner and watched it in its original glory before the edits, before the directors got involved, and before they gave him that narration.
Would that be amazing if Nigel Havers actually did 5 shows and they were all variations on Ridley Scott's cuts?
Yeah, it was each of the cuts. He just did a different one-man show to represent each of the cuts.
Some of them get voiceovers and some of them don't.
It's famously shit director's cuts.
I know that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, do you know, to be right, okay, right. I know you said that we were done with this, right? But really, in real life, before we go into this, Lucy Orchard has just said, I don't know, Lucy, we know Lucy. I don't know why I keep telling your full name. Lucy has just said that he's essentially just sexy, and she said, "Do sex bots dream of electric havers?" Which is funnier than anything we've come up with in 15 minutes. So thank you, Lucy.
We've been put to shame.
But going back to my original point is, there should only ever be 2 cuts of any film.
Yeah. The really, theatrical cut and the director's cut.
In real terms, there should be 1 cut, because I'm firmly of the belief that a director, for better or worse, should have final say on his cut of the film, right? So you could have a director just been able to do their full vision, and it could be terrible. It could be The Room.
But it's so what they set out to do. You want to give the director creative control.
Yep, exactly. But worst case scenario, you get like Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings. You kind of go, maybe they say, Peter, maybe 4 hours, 15 minutes is too long for someone to be sitting in the cinema. You can have a theatrical cut, and then when it comes to DVD, you can have a director's cut. But the likes of Ridley Scott, Coppola with Apocalypse Now, do you know what? You only should have a maximum of 2 cuts. And if Ridley Scott's able to release like a 6 Blu-ray edition of every cut of Blade Runner that he's ever done, you're just kind of going, do you know what? And some of them are, you're just kind of going, well, do you know what? Would Deckard walk left instead of right in that? You're just kind of going, do you know what? You're just taking the piss now, Ridley.
Yeah, you're like that's masturbatory at that stage.
Yep.
That's absolutely. Exactly. It's just so self-indulgent.
Yeah. Well, they did the Blade Runner final cut, and then it clearly was Ridley Scott hadn't done all this material. They actually had to get Harrison Ford's boy in to do double shots, like kind of long shots of like.
It's not a cut there; it's a refilming.
It is, absolutely. Anyway, do we want to go on with this quest?
Yes, let's do that.
Right. Let's do it. Right, okay. So you've clambered to the right, and you've seen the pirates.
I have indeed.
And you're going to discuss with Mungo what to do. As I said, it's probably pretty much in your court. I don't think I can throw.
Well, you say that, but I think, you know what? I think I'm going to take Mungo's advice no matter what it is. So read the choices out and know that whatever Mungo recommends, I'm doing, unless it's blatantly stupid.
Well, this is the thing, right? It says you discuss with Mungo what to do, and then it just gives you 2 choices of things to do. So there's no kind
of. Didn't give me any advice from Mungo. Mungo, what are you even here for?
Mungo seems surplus to requirements. That's why you turn around to Mungo, and your basic choices are to attack the pirates or just climb back in the inlet over to the other cove where you can find the turtles.
So, sorry, my choices are fight 6 guys.
6 guys or go somewhere else.
Or go somewhere else. No, the end. Look, I don't want to repeat. I don't want to start from the start again. So I'm gonna. I mean, as much as it pains me to do it, last time I did end up filled with arrows, and we died in episode 2. So do you know what? For the first time, I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go and change my decision from clambering to scrambling.
You've got to remember, right, that there's 2 of you. So at worst, you probably only fight 3.
Yeah, but I also know that combat is the least interesting part of this, and we haven't got much time left for questions. So let's go back the way.
You're going to go back the way?
Pirates.
So you're just going to avoid fights?
I'm just going to avoid this time. Yeah, I'm going to avoid a fight this time. I'm sorry. I know. I've got a yellow streak longer than a herd of diuretic camels.
Oh, I think that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough. Yeah.
It's not my usual, but we'll drink from the wise well for once.
You made your choice. You had the choice of fighting 6 pirates or just heading to another beach. And we've all faced that. We've all faced that choice.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you've had a couple of drinks in you and you think, I could take the 6 pirates. Or you've had 1 line of cocaine and you think, I can take 50 pirates.
Yeah, the good thing is that you can go to the other beach with your head held high and say, I could have taken them.
Sorry, I just had a. Okay, yeah, let's go with our head held high. Our head held high, our heels over our shoulder.
Lucy has just said Havers would never choose violence. So you've made the right choice.
I made the in-character choice is really what I did. Havers would see those pirates and he'd think I was in Chariots of Fire, and then he'd turn around and he'd walk away.
I'm genuinely concerned about our language now on account of the fact that my daughter's now watching as well.
Yeah, hello. Is this the first time?
Exactly.
Is this the first time that's happened?
The first time. She could have probably watched back 100 times. She could be one of our viewers, but by the same token, I'm just now suddenly. So anyway, so we won't talk about any of the horrible things we've been talking about before. So it doesn't take long for you to reach the beach, which is small and covered with golden sand. This already sounds better.
Yeah. Fuck the pirates.
A few rocks jar into the sea, and at the far end of the beach, you see a tiny hut made of white stone. The roof has collapsed, and the hut looks deserted.
Oh.
There are some long tracks in the sand crisscrossing the beach. You get the choice of walking along the beach to the hut or climbing back to the inlet over to the beach on the other cove.
I'm sorry. So hold on. My choice here could be to climb back over, then go to the pirates, and then I could choose again to climb back over.
You could actually just keep going back and forth.
We found ourselves a loop.
We found ourselves a loophole where we could just keep going back and forth and back and you could actually now, if people will continue to watch, you could beat your current streak of 11 episodes by
easily
just going back and forth between the left and right cove.
How about we go up to that hut? Because as fun as exploiting an infinite loop is, and we all love that, it's really bad for content.
I don't know, because we have thus far had very little content over 52 minutes. So I genuinely think if anybody could make a quest of us going back and forth between the left and the right cove for 12 episodes, it's probably us and the people that wrote Mad Men.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
So you want to go to the hut?
Let's go to the hut.
Let's go to the hut.
The Pizza Hut.
Let's go to the hut. I'm also thinking
other pizza restaurants aren't available.
I think Lucy's able to watch on account of the fact that her show starts at 8 o'clock.
And we have started early this week.
It's over. So after this show finishes at 8, Lucy, is your show on at 8? I urge people, Lucy, you should put a link on the chat. If anybody's watching this at 8 o'clock, Lucy's show is infinitely more entertaining than ours.
Yep. It's actual rehearsed content there. We have
rehearsed content. Lucy knows what she's doing.
She saw 7 to start.
She's just said she's not on tonight. So the one night that we don't have crossover with her, she's not on. She says, I'm all yours.
Well, how about throw a link to wherever your show usually is in the comments anyway, because that way people who are unearthing this next week can find it.
I think if you follow Lucy, she usually puts links to her show on her Facebook page. She has said, I'm all yours. And Lucy, I'm not going to lie, that's something I'm willing to explore off camera.
Nigel Havers is in.
Again, I've just remembered that my daughter's watching this and I shouldn't make comments like that. Anyway, so you walk into the hut. Hi, Martin. Right, so you're walking to the hut. So you're about halfway across the beach when suddenly a large mound of sand by the sea's edge starts to rise into the air.
Oh, shit.
You're with the pirates.
No.
Then you see 6 large spiny legs and a pair of pincers, and as his hand slides off a huge shell, your eyes widen at the daunting sight of a giant crab before you. There it is there.
What? Can I still go back? Can I go back to Clamber? I'll take on 6 pirates instead of that thing.
You most certainly can. It scuttles across the sand and picks up Mungo with one of its pincers.
Wait, is that Mungo in the picture?
That is Mungo in the picture.
No! Our sweet prince. He must be protected at all costs.
Mungo cries out in pain, unable to free himself from his vice-like grip. And on this note, it's probably, I'm probably ruining the flow and the ebb of it. But Lucy has said that she's up for that, but only if we bring Havers.
Yes, of course. Havers will be there.
Havers will be there, of course.
Man's 71 years old. I'm sure he doesn't have enough to fill his days anymore.
I've just had a message from my daughter saying, I didn't know how to get out. I didn't want to watch, but it wouldn't let me leave.
It's like when they've locked the doors at the gig.
Lucy said that's a fucking crab and a half. Morgan, if you're still watching, we genuinely don't mind you watching.
It's fine. Anyone can watch.
I will talk to her after this. I've got absolutely no qualms with you watching. It's absolutely fine. To be honest, if it, I would bring you in because you couldn't do any worse than Chris.
That's true.
Mungo cries in pain, unable to free himself from the vice-like grip. You get the choice of helping Mungo or running to the stone hut.
Oh, that's an easy choice. We're helping Mungo. We gotta help Mungo. It would be really funny if Mungo spent all that time rowing us over to this island. We scamper over one wall. He gets lifted up by a crab, and then I just leave him for dead. We'll run from 6 pirates because there was no reason to fight them, but I got a reason to fight this crab, so we're helping Mungo out.
Lucy's just asked if her daughter's stuck in the loop, as Morgan walking back between the left and right cove for eternity.
It's exactly what it is. She's just mad. She was checking to see if she could find the right way out of this.
Absolutely. She's fine. But to be fair, how embarrassing would this be if basically you're now in a situation where you'd have been better off fighting the pirates because Mungo would stay with you.
He doesn't just get snipped in half like a piece of confetti.
So you're going to run at the giant crab with your sword drawn. It drops Mungo into the sand in order to attack you with both pincers.
In my head, he falls in like C-3PO. He's just like, it's just his legs sticking out of the sand like that.
The giant crab has a skill of 10 and a stamina of 11.
Jesus. Is that better than 6 pirates? I don't know.
15. Have you got 2 dice with you?
I always have at least 2 dice with me. Let me just see if they're on hand.
I can roll for both of you, but it's more exciting if you roll.
I've got it here. The only problem is I do have my big mic set up here. So let's just move that out of the way. That's my desk drawer. Let's get rid of that mess. There's enough mess in my house as is. Right.
We've got 2 minutes of combat to be the end of you. How bad would this be? Lucy's money is on the crab.
Just pour all of those out.
I roll my 2 dice. You basically get the same skill, so we're pretty much rolling dice for dice. I'll roll first.
Yeah, that would be helpful actually.
I rolled a 5 and a 1. I've got a 6.
So I'm rolling 2 dice here.
Yep.
We have a 5 and a 6.
Excellent. So you've basically the giant crab's stamina is down to 9.
This is my office desk. This is where I work. So it's just full of shit. Notes from work.
You're working now.
What is that? I can't even tell. Oh, that's
right, I'm rolling again.
All right, I'll roll again.
I rolled a 7.
I rolled again a 5 and a 6. No, sorry, that's a 4 and a 6, not a 5 and a 6. 4 and a 6.
4 and a 6. So anyway, you're kicking this crab's ass. You only need to hit it another 4 times and you've won.
Only another, just the 4
things. 8.
We got a 10 here.
Excellent. You're down to 5. You only need to hit it 3 more times.
Yo.
And you rolled a 5 and a 3 and an 8.
I got an 8 as well. 6 and a 2.
That means you do both clang off one another. I don't think it's hurt.
A glancing blow.
5 and a 4 and a
9. 4 and a 4, 8. We lost that one.
Oh, your stamina has gone down to 13.
Dear.
Exciting times. If anybody's watching this, it must be like watching a human fight a crab. How exciting.
Crab twice my size with incredible strength.
She's wondering why you didn't have dice ready, but I mean, you've got hundreds of dice.
I kind of always have dice ready.
What's that? 9.
We got to find out what that was. That was a 6 and a 2, 8.
Ah, You're down to 11.
The force of that actually closed the lid.
You're down to 11 stamina points. I got a 1 and a 3 or 4.
Oh, we got a 10 over here.
Right, so that's fine. So,
it's a really bad place for that light to be. Is there
2 more hits and the crab's dead.
Yo!
I just did a 6, a 1, a 7.
That's a 10.
Excellent. So really, it's 1 more hit, the crab's dead.
Yes, here it is.
I've got a 2 and a 5, 7.
We have a 4 and a 4, 8.
Crab's dead.
Liddy looks a slut with me tonight.
Crab's dead. You lost 4 stamina points.
Incredible.
You boys, skill level 3, stamina 12. I'm fine with that. Do you know, I've had women tell me worse. Skill level 3 or stamina 12 is actually not bad. You're not very good at it, but you went for a while.
It's the first time I've ever won in a battle against a crab or crabs.
The crabs usually win. Oh, here we go. Right, so you've killed the crab. Kneeling down beside the crushed body of Mungo, you gently lift his head into your arms. His eyes open a little and imagines half a smile despite his agony. And a whisper, he says, "Well, old friend, it's the end of the road for me. A lot of use I've been. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" Because I can't remember the accent he did last time, but he is dying, so I feel that I've managed to kind of get away with that. Then his eyes close and he slumps down dead. You bury him in the beach near the cliff, marking his grave with his sword skewered into the sand. More determined than ever, you set off on your quest and walk to the stone hut. Mungo's dead. I wonder if he does survive.
Wait, so if we had just ran away from that crab,
Mungo would have died anyway.
He would have just been snipped in half.
Yeah, but if you had fought the pirates, it might have been fine.
I doubt it. I think that was a choose how Mungo dies scenario.
Choose your own Mungo death.
We fucking called it. We called it. We said he'd die at the end of this episode.
We absolutely called it. The abandoned hut is littered with broken furniture, smashed pottery, and a few bits of torn clothing. You kick away a dirty rug and see the handle of a trapdoor in the floorboards. And the choice that I'm leaving you with as a cliffhanger is because you've got no time to mourn Mungo. You've got a week to mourn Mungo. You've got a fortnight to mourn Mungo. But your choices that you're left with is lifting the trapdoor or leaving the hut.
What the fuck's the point?
We'll come back to that next week.
I don't want to make either of those. I want to go back and talk to Mungo's family.
Can't do that. Mungo's family don't want to talk to you. You killed their boy.
Also, we just buried him in sand.
You did. I'm going to quickly, do you know what? I'm going to quickly check for spoilers, right, before we finish this show, whether he would have survived the pirate fight.
Yeah, you could go for that.
Right, I'm just quickly checking.
Genuinely distraught at Mungo's death.
He fought the pirates.
He was the best of us.
Right, okay. Right, so you fought the crab, right? This is the deleted scene.
Okay. Yeah.
So here's the deleted scene. So you fight the pirates, right?
Right.
You look around, you see Mungo fight the last remaining pirate, who happens to be the captain. Before you can help him, the captain lunges forward and pierces the poor Mungo through the chest. Mungo had no chance, right? He lets out an anguish cry and drops onto the golden sand in a crumpled heap. The captain turns to face you, a grotesque sneer in his face, distorted by a long black scar running down the left side. You charge at the captain to avenge Mungo, right?
I can't believe this. I've never felt so cheated in my life. It turns out that the infinite loop was the only way to keep Mungo alive. The infinite
loop was the only way to keep Mungo alive.
Oh my god. Do we stay trapped in an infinite loop just to preserve Mungo?
To preserve Mungo's life. So assuming you killed the pirate captain, the sand all around Mungo is red with blood. You kneel down beside him and gently lift his head and his arms. His eyes open a little and he manages a half smile despite his agony, and a whisper he says, "We got them, but a lot of good it did me. Make sure you get the Lizard King for me, won't you?" And his eyes close and he slumps down dead.
Actually, the crab death was a bit more. I'm glad we went with the crab death because it was a bit more respectful.
Yep, absolutely. So Mungo had no chance. Lucy just said Mungo was always fucked.
Mungo, I'm gonna. Whenever I kill the Lizard King, it will be in Mungo's name. This is the very first time. The book has actually given me motivation to do what it is that it wants me to do. I genuinely want to kill the Lizard King for Mungo now.
For Mungo.
All it had to do was give me a dog. All they had to do was give me a dog that the bad guy could shoot, and then that gives me motivation.
This is your John Wick moment.
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly the John Wick moment.
Nigel Havers in one-man John Wick next year in the Fringe.
You take my Mungo away, and Nigel Havers will tear apart every chariot of fire to kill you.
Look, Lucy's contacting Greenpeace because the crab was protected. There you go. Pirates aren't protected.
It's true.
Aren't a protected species, but you killed a giant crab.
Well, do you know what? He killed my best friend.
He did kill your best. He did kill your best friend. Mungo's dead. You're in a hut. You're presented with a trapdoor, and that's where we're leaving it.
Yeah, that's us.
Exciting times. That was a good hour of gaming, and me not revealing the name of an ex-employee that I worked with. Not in the NHS. I hasten to add. Just in case there's any NHS people watching, but somebody I used to work with was outed on a Panorama documentary as a paedophile. If you want more,
and thank you for tuning in this week to Titan on Titan. I think that's an excellent place to leave off. Just be like, someone I used to work with was convicted as outed on a Panorama documentary and subsequently convicted as a brutal child molester.
Warner Brothers ousted Pepe Le Pew as a sex pervert and ousted one of my ex-work colleagues as a pedophile.
Do you work for Warner Brothers?
No, I didn't work for Warner Brothers. No, that was the Pepe Le Pew thing. I didn't work with Pepe Le Pew. Although this guy actually did have a body odor issue, so he was akin to Pepe Le Pew. Anyway, on that note, this has been Titan. Imagine there's like going to go, used to work with a pedo.
Yeah, I honestly think that comedically would have been the best place to enter. And yes, someone I knew was on a Panorama documentary.
Titan on Titan, and I used to work with a pedophile.
And I'm Chris Ashworth, and I'm Chris Ashworth, and a barman I knew was a war criminal.
He kept kind of trying to do this kind of side part. He just kind of got. He just had this pencil moustache. I went, "Would you like your hair to be?"
And I once worked at a taxi office that was a undercover brothel.
I have no doubt that that's true because I think a lot of taxi places are undercover. Any taxi drivers watching? I'm sure that there is.
Fake Taxi is a documentary.
There's definitely a relationship and, dare I say, an interdependency between local taxi firms and the sex trade. I'm just putting that out there.
How are you going to get there? You're not going to drive yourself. That's mental. Someone might recognize you. Someone might recognize your car.
Absolutely, that's it. If you just, we should finish this up. Do you remember at the end of episodes of He-Man, they used to give you wise words, and then at the end of this, you should just say, if you're going to go and visit a sex worker tonight, please use a taxi. I've been John Carruthers.
You're John Carruthers, or park 3 streets away. I've been Chris Ashworth.
Always part 3 streets away. And also remember that if you are, it's all well and good. It's all well and good to be. If it's the only way that you can engage in a sexual practice with someone else, it's all well and good. But do remember that they also do have ties with human trafficking. For John Carruthers, good night.
And bring your own condoms, because they will poke holes in them to trap you. I've been Chris Ashworth.
They will, absolutely, exactly. That's been Chris Ashworth.
No, you dick.
That's been Chris Ashworth.
This has been John Carruthers.
Good night.
Sayonara.
Sayonara.